Welcome. I am Tony Taylor and I am the connector. You could be anywhere right now, but you chose to be here with me and I'm grateful for it and thank you. Today I have my BFF, all caps, Venus Childress Bolton. We grew up together and I'll get into it later, but she's my best friend. She does everything. We'll fill that out as well. Welcome to the show, Venus. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I'm doing wonderful. Wonderful.
Oh, that's awesome. So let me digress. I'm going to go back and tell everyone how we met. Back in 85, 84?
85, 86, something like that.
Yeah. This new girl from Panama came to school. And they were like, did you see that new girl? She bad. And I was like, who is it? And they were like, her name is Venus, like the fly trap. And I was like, oh my God. And then they were like, and she breakdanced too.
This is true.
So she had a little clique, her little breakdance crew, her and Lori Randolph, who they still are BFF to this day.
Yes.
Shout out to Lori Randolph. Shout out, I'm going to be better.
Right. Better.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that's so funny because I tell people that often. I'm like, yeah, I actually used to be in a crew.
Yes.
And I remember moving here from Maine, where we actually used to perform in venues up in Canada. But yeah, so breakdancing.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It was.
And so your dad was military, so that's how you were in Maine, right? Picking potatoes.
You remember that. There was a picking potatoes story. There absolutely is. Schools shut down for about 3 weeks in Maine so that everyone in town and the students can participate in picking potatoes.
Is there laws against that now?
There isn't, but I'll tell you, I was like, wait, school shuts down for this? And
yeah.
You get up bright and early in the morning, 5 a.m., the bus picks you up, you're layered up, and you go out into this field. And they give you a whole section. And I just remembered thinking, if this tractor drives past this row one more time, I'm going to lose my mind. It was like, how many rows behind am I? But it was really, you had the migrant workers that came, and it was, Maine's potato picking season and time. And I just wanted to try it. And then one day I woke up like, my arms are moving in my sleep, and I thought, yeah, I'm good. This is a wrap. So
yeah, but maybe back then, how old were you? Like 12, 13?
15.
15.
Yeah,
so
15.
It gave you that discipline like your dad had from the military, but it also gave you that opportunity to know what you didn't want to do. You did not want to work in a potato field the rest of your life.
Listen, it was like peer persuasion. It's
yes.
like, oh, this is what you all do?
Sure.
All right, well, let me experience this. I maybe lasted about a week and a half, and I was like, no way. Because, you had this little basket that you put it in that you then put into this big barrel, and it was like 50 cents a barrel. And
oh, wow.
Like, man, I'm calculating. I'm about 5 rows behind. Can somebody, break down that tractor? But it was. And so, yes, my dad was in the military. It had always been a desire of mine to go into the military as well. So Dad served.
You got on your little fatigue today.
Yeah,
so shout out to Harold.
Yes. So, yes, in spirit.
Yes.
Today. But yeah, 20 plus years in the military. We landed here in Virginia. Mom was from Baltimore. Dad's from Charlottesville. And so Richmond seemed like that intermediary.
Close
enough to everybody. So 84.
Yeah, it had to have been.
We moved back to the States in 84. We moved to Richmond in 85, I believe it was. Yep.
Yeah.
I actually was so excited because, again, Maine.
Yes.
4 feet of snow, going to the store on the snowmobile, never missing school. We moved here in January of 85, and I remember Richmond got snow, and it was like an inch of snow, and school
shut down for 2 weeks.
And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to love it here.
Oh, I know, because my wife, Debbie, is from Vermont, so she was like, oh my God, when she moved here and our kids started going to school, and she was like, Oh, those kids can go to school.
Correct.
She's like, we never missed a day of school. They
Never.
put chains on the buses and you just went to school.
Never, I never
That's
missed a day
crazy.
of school. Yep. So that was, yeah, when we would have met in 85 is when I moved here. Yeah.
I know.
With Sean Bogle shouting
Shout out to Sean.
She's in my crew.
And you all have the same birthday too.
The 26th.
Coming up, October 26th. I was just talking to him the other day.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is full circle because like like I said, we've kept in contact the whole time, even when I was in the military and the army.
Yes.
And then we moved back here. And funny story, later, when our kids were in middle school, my son came home and was like, I'm dating this girl named Paris. And I was like, Paris? Where is she from? And he's like, she moved here from the West End. And I was like, really? And I was like, show me a picture of Paris. It was Paris.
You're right. What's so
Your
crazy-
daughter, Paris.
What's so crazy about that is she would say, yeah, I like this little boy at school, AJ. And I'm like, okay, AJ. And I was like, who? Again, we are people of a certain age, so we're like, who are their
they?
parents? Who are their parents?
Exactly.
And she's like, oh, well, he's a junior, Anthony Taylor Jr. And I said, wait, what?
What?
And again, small world, and we hadn't seen each other in years.
Years.
Here are our kids, but
And then
we have pictures of them as like
As babies playing together.
at birthday parties
Yes.
together, and it was like, just like you said, a full circle
Full circle.
moment to be reconnected with.
Yeah.
So incredible. Yeah.
So what I wanted to do today is I wanted to talk about how you keep reinventing yourself, because I too have reinvented myself multiple times.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that you never stay stuck, stagnant. You are always growing, progressing. And so give me a little feedback or tell the viewers a little bit where you started after high school. Because I know she was a little model. She moved to New York for a while and she modeled in the NYC, the Big Apple.
Yes, that was really fun.
How long did you stay there?
You know, the thing about New York was I felt like I owed it to myself. I had a couple of agencies that said, hey, come to the city. And I had only really been here in Richmond doing the thing. And so I really just felt like, man, I don't want to feel like woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Exactly.
Let me really try this. And I loved it. And actually New York I felt like, man, this is where I always was supposed to live and be. When I look back at New York, I feel like it was one of those times where I believe the Lord wanted to separate me from everything that was happening here in Richmond and get me to myself to really just have that time to deepen in my faith. But yeah, New York was super fun. But also, it was one of those places where I thought, everybody's there to do the main thing, but we're all doing the secondary thing that's supporting the goal that we really want to have there. But for me, I didn't stay there as long as I imagined that I would, because again, I was a single mom at the time. I had a very young child, and I kept thinking, I'm going to get her here. I'm going to get her here. And then I'm like, how am I going to do this? And
it's a lot.
And then I started missing home. I was probably coming home every couple weeks. Then it was, every week. It was like, get here by plane, train, automobile. It was originally the plane, then it was the train, then it was the bus, then it was like...
Oh, I hate that bus. Remember that bus?
Yes, I
do. From New York City?
Yes, that Peter Pan. Actually, I had to take the Peter Pan to Baltimore to then come down.
Yeah.
So, New York was just... I'm so glad that I had that experience. I met so many wonderful people there. People that I'm still very, very close to this day that are doing their thing out in the world still. But
now, did you meet Chandra Rhimes when you?
Chandra Williams.
Okay.
Still, listen, I'm like, girl, you're still out here on Grey's.
Yes.
Daggone.
Yeah.
And I remember just, I can look back on that fondly to say there was the goal, the things aligned, I look at a Boris Kojo who was in New York at the time that I was, and just thinking of like, my landlord was is not even was is a very accomplished composer, Tony
Oh, really?
Award winner, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Played piano for Eartha Kitt for years until
Eartha, not Miss Eartha. Marcus,
yeah,
darling.
Mark, and just just had a real wonderful cross section of people that I had the joy of being connected with, who I'm still very connected to this
Yeah,
day. But when I came back to Richmond, so if I step back, because you went to modeling, but when I even think about in high school,
yeah.
working at Bradley's,
Oh, Bradley's right up the
little
street from us. I
retail
worked at
store.
Bradley's too. I work in health and beauty aids
I remember
in
HCA,
Bradley's.
yes, in
Yes.
HCA.
Yeah, I used to like every day after school, or I would go there and work, and then somehow I ended up in the beauty industry doing in a salon.
See,
So that's like a little foreshadow.
and that's so when I think back, I look at Bradley's as like being starting out there as a cashier, to then in short term, working at customer service, to then in
Yes.
short term working as the customer service manager, like
Oh, I didn't know
running the
that.
back
I
end.
was already in the military at that point, I
Right.
think.
But I think about a lot of it was kind of started there. In every place that I've ever worked, it's always sort of I've come in this one role, but always had a quick ascension to
Yeah.
the next tier and layer. And so Bradley's was just fun. But I look back at like being a 17-year-old running a front end with people who were my
Yeah.
mom's age or my age, but also just that solidified for me, like, hey, you can come in and do this thing. I too feel like I'm very relational. I'm very much a connector. I very
Yeah.
much have a heart to serve people, and also with a measure of excellence in things. And so I've always been a person who can go into a place in a position and then really strive
Yeah.
to move up or actually be what's the word for others to see that in me,
Sure.
and then
Set the example.
allow me the opportunity to kind of flourish in places. So that was one of my first jobs. I look back on that, and then but my goal had been to go into the military. I
Okay.
wanted to
And why not? Why didn't you join?
I tore my knee up 3 weeks before I graduated from high school, and so that was
Baseball?
softball.
Softball?
And so that ended that whole desire and dream that I had. And that's all I wanted to do. So I
Yeah.
didn't have a secondary plan. It was like, I'm going
But
to
as you
military.
and I both know, the man up above always has a better plan.
Exactly.
Always.
That was really it. I was like, military, I could see it. And that's all I wanted. So I didn't have a secondary plan. I went to community college because I wanted to show my parents, like, okay, I'm going to do something. And
Yeah.
then New York came. Well, then I started working for a property management company.
Oh, I remember that.
Started GSC, started there as an office assistant, moved into like a training assistant role, and then took over the training department where
Wow.
I was traveling both to North Carolina and here, and really just training the both the folks in the field
Yeah.
and the agents that worked for the different apartment communities. That was like the largest property management company. And so I loved that job, though.
That seemed like a lifetime ago, though.
I
When you said GSC, it all
I
came
know, right?
rushing
Just
back.
right back. Like
Yeah, that was
the
off of
places.
Forest Hill?
They were, yes, off of Forest Hill. That's
That's
where
crazy.
the main office was.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
had, facilities south side, over in Henrico, but they had another large conglomerate down in the Triangle area.
Okay.
So I did a lot in Raleigh, Durham.
Oh, okay.
Down there. So again, it was one of those things where I came in and learned at the base level, and then was able to really show, like, hey, we could probably do something with these skills, and again, just the ascension to training. So I really love that. But when I came back from New York, I obviously had skills. So again, everybody's
Yes.
funding their main dream with something else. So I worked in word processing, typed like 75 words a minute.
Yeah.
Pretty much go and work in
I still
a
can't
lot of
type.
different places. Miss Avery, shout out to Miss
Oh,
Avery.
shout out to Miss Avery.
Meadowbrook. And so when I came back to Richmond and worked in word, I did a lot of temporary kind of
Yeah,
jobs.
I remember.
That was a thing then, right? You could just your skills could put you in a lot of places. But I landed at Circuit City. I was temping working as an admin there. And I remembered in the field of technology. So it was a bunch of admins and developers.
Yeah, yeah.
But I also had a real knack for wanting to learn that. My dad and I used to do, like, I don't know if you remember DOS, but the operating system where you could.
Oh, I remember that.
So, like, I used to really kind of play around behind the scenes with computers, and I love being able to, like, just tell it what to do and how to do it, kind of thing. And so I ended up working in the technology space in the IT department at
Circuit City?
Circuit City. And I remembered I would just kind of shadow some of the guys. You know, you think of technology back there, not a lot of females working in that space. But I used to shadow a lot of the guys, and maybe like showing me different things. And I remember that one of the gentlemen, he was from Iowa, and he had I think his dad had gotten ill, and he moved back to the Midwest, and they found that they had this need for someone to take on this responsibility. And I remember my boss saying, you know what, Venus, if you can get dialed into this, you won't have to worry about much if you can stay on this path. And then I thought, me, can I do this? And I had been doing it, but it was just really a scary thing to think it's going to be me. But I did. I jumped in. I started. I was a Lotus Notes administrator. It was a very highly specialized area, but did the training, put in the paces, and really showed up to be able to do the work. I actually really surprised myself. I'm like, I'm actually doing this.
Yeah, right?
You know?
I think a lot of times we get stuck, or we are our own worst critics, worst enemy, and we don't think we can do something. But if you set your mind to it, you can do just about anything. And I remember going to Circuit City was my spot. I used to go every Friday, and I would get CDs. Mm-hmm. I still have a huge CD collection. Or DVDs later when they came out.
Yes. And I'll tell you, I worked on a project. There was a project that Circuit City was working on, DivX, which was really set to kind of model what later became a really big boom, which was the Red Box era.
Oh, Red Box, yeah.
Yeah, it was just some brilliant minds that worked in that space. But it's interesting that you say how you can have this level of belief or unbelief or am I worthy
mindset
or a little bit of imposter syndrome shows up, or even sabotage. You know, I jumped back when I was in New York. I remember I tell the kids this story that, you know, around the time MTV was really rocking and rolling, I remember I was coming home on the train one of those trips home, and I met one of the guys who was doing the production for, this was when VJs were really big.
Oh, right? Yeah.
And they're like, you know, I've really enjoyed talking to you this whole 5-hour trip, 6-hour trip. And, you know, I really think that you could do this thing. You know, we're looking for these folks that could come. And I kept thinking, like, why is he talking to me about this?
Yeah.
He's like, I just need you to get this tape submitted. And I'll tell you.
Because back then, they had a few, but there weren't that many African Americans on MTV. You had Kurt Loder, you had all these other, and then Ananda Lewis came later.
Right. So this would have been before Ananda. It was the time that so I remember telling all my friends, I met this guy and he says, oh my gosh, just submit this tape. And Tony, I'll tell you, I just didn't believe that I could do that. Like, and I look back and I'm like, man, you sabotaged this opportunity. He all but said, just drop this tape off.
Yeah.
And I procrastinated, and then the procrastination became my excuse.
Yeah.
It was like,
boy, do I know that.
Well, I can't get this tape together by tomorrow. And I remember my friend saying to me, what do you mean? You're blowing it. Like, and I look back and I know that I sabotaged it, because it was Dallas was the
Dallas, yeah, I remember
that
her.
was hired, and I was like, oh, okay, you know, because I had hair at one point, I didn't have the hair, now I have this short style, but I remember just thinking when I worked at Circuit City, I will know that I really could do this job if I could go elsewhere and do it. Because obviously the people there, they knew me, they they loved me.
Yeah.
They were a part of my story.
But you just have that
Working in
energy
that
as well,
space.
because people that know you love you. You just have that magnetic energy where like everybody gravitates towards you, or you can walk in a room, you're like me, and within 2 minutes, you know, this woman's from Iowa, he's
Right.
from Jersey,
Yes.
he's a banker, she has her own, you know everything about everybody, and it's so easy for people to get to know you.
I do think that that's a superpower to be able to
It is a
kind of go
superpower
in
because,
and really assess, or make people feel heard, seen, known, loved, you know. And so, but for me, I just was like, can I really do this? And I remembered the recruiter called me and said, "Hey, McKesson has this job open for a notes administrator. I'm going to submit you for it." I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't go and do that like that. But it was very, very telling to me that I applied for that job, got that job, ran in that space. Again, had that a similar trajectory of my superiors seeing like maybe
yeah,
what else can she do? And so I went from doing notes administration to project management to then overseeing an entire grouping of people that were serving the primary care and acute care sales force.
wow,
Like, and so, at that time, the only young, under 30, Black, female IT manager at that
wow,
organization
that's
at the
crazy.
time. Yeah. And so it was super fulfilling. One of the things that I loved was actually being able to identify just the way that others would look at me and identify that is being able to see that in other people and give
Yes.
them opportunities too. So I loved the time I was at McKesson. We were
How long were you there?
6 or 7 years, I
Oh,
think,
that
and I
long.
and I probably would have been there a little bit longer, but it was also during that time that we were trying to expand our family.
Okay.
My job was super stressful. I was running
Yeah.
a lot of high level projects for the company and stress. And so we were, again, trying to start a family. McKinley, our youngest, was our 10th pregnancy.
Oh,
And
wow.
so my physician said, is stress a part of this?
Yeah.
Like, is that what's wrecking your body? And so at that time, I was just open to doing whatever I could to have a family. And if that meant, hey, I need to step away from this career this space that I'm working in, I
Yeah.
was willing to do that too. And so,
I didn't know that. I didn't
yeah.
know that that was your 10th birthday.
And
And my last guest, she was on a couple weeks ago, and she worked in a fertility
oh, really?
IVF. Yeah, she
Wow.
did. She worked there, and I was like having a conversation with her about, and that was one of the things that she said. It's stress. Most people put so much stress and pressure on themselves,
The
then
body.
that the body can't handle it, and the mind can't either. So
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you, the desire for family was larger than that. I mean, at that time, I was,
money comes, money goes, right?
listen, I was like, really, am I going to leave this
No, 6 figures.
almost six figures job at 30 something years
Yeah,
old,
right.
like, that I've really worked in, but we made that decision. My husband at the time,
Shout out Q. Shout out to
we met
Q.
at Circuit City. He was working in the IT field and it was like, let's just do this. And so, but a couple of weeks after, I'm like, what have I done? Oh
That
no.
goes back to that doubt and second guessing.
What have
But
I
again, like we said earlier, there's always a higher power looking
Listen.
out for you.
Listen, always. And we don't see it then, but I understand it now. So now here I am, this corporate climber, home. One, never really wanted children. I loved other people's kids.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Have my one daughter, and of course she wants siblings, siblings, siblings. Like, it's not for a lack of really trying, but it
Yeah.
just wasn't working out. And again, conceiving was never the problem. It was really like maintaining a pregnancy. So
Yes.
the thing is, I look back and I'm like, I am a home-based housewife. I'm a stay-at-home mom. Like, I just never saw that for myself. But
Yeah.
I've always had a hustle. I've always had
Sure.
a hustle. And
Since I've known you, you have.
always. And so at that time, I was working for beauty control.
Oh, I remember
So,
beauty.
yeah.
I bought a couple, three products from Beauty Control.
You know the whole.
What was your friend's name?
Kyle Greenwich. Shout out to
Kyle.
Kyle.
Shout out, Kyle.
You know, the thing about that was I was always a person who loved products. You know, again, you working in the modeling industry, you got to keep your skin together. Like I was always looking for something to just keep it tight and right. And so I loved those products. But so I worked there as a
Consultant. And you did really well with that.
it was one of those things that I loved it. And so that was kind of like think back to like the home party kind of thing.
Yeah.
Get your girlfriends together.
Yeah.
Let me come over and let's just dive into these products. But what I learned, one of the things, there was a young lady, Angela Brown out of the Midwest, who really sort of turned or made you think differently about your home-based consultant. And she really made it into, not that it wasn't a business, because I knew a lot of people that were doing great, but she just kind of flipped the script and I loved it. And so what I did was I said, all right, because I'm a person that doesn't like to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
I'm like, if it works for her, how can I do this? So what I started doing was really shopping the experience to small businesses, to medical facilities, to schools, places that didn't really have like your, what do you call it, wellness programs.
Sure.
And I would say, hey, let me come in, let me give your employees, your teachers, your staff this experience. And
back to that entrepreneurship.
That's really what it was. So I would go in, men and women, I want to make you look good, feel good. I want to empower you through the process, give you some of this information, because again, stress, number one killer of women, heart disease. It's like, how do we dial in and understand that we have to take the pause? We have to be good to ourselves. So now that you've come amongst your friends and we've had all that, we're having fun, but let me show you how to take this back into your home and recreate it for yourself.
Exactly, because I can't be with you all the time. As much as you would like that, I can't be with you all the time.
Let me show you how to do this. And so I love the one-to-many approach. And that's how I built that business. I built that because even I took it back to McKesson. I would go in about once a month and give the experience.
Because the door was already open.
It was. And so I was just like, okay. But it was a smart business move to think of it differently. Like, how do I separate myself from just being one of many consultants that do this thing? How can I provide a service? And at that time I was probably charging, it was like $75 an hour to just go. And I told him, you're my focus group.
Yeah.
I'm just getting out into the public.
Meanwhile, she's trying to focus on that money.
Listen,
get them pockets right.
That was it. That was it. It was really like, let me stamp this out so that you all are my focus group. And then I can take this out around to different places. And I mean, I still would get calls up until just a few years ago, like, hey, it's Nurses Week. It's Teacher Appreciation.
Yeah.
Can you come to the school and do? I'm like, yeah.
I think at that time I was working for Chesterfield County and mental health.
Yeah.
Because I got out of the military, we moved back here, Debbie and I, and then started our family and got a job right away with Chesterfield County and mental health. And I did that for about 3 years. And me too, I started from the bottom. I went in just doing, we had disabled adults. But we are business out in the community. And so my job, we were a furniture refinishing business. So I went in and I was just like there to keep up production. And then I moved up and I helped with training the MR adults. And then from there, I took over the whole floor. And then they wanted me to do management, but then I left. I ended up leaving after 3 years. Yeah.
Right. So we follow that. I mean, it's something when someone can identify, hey, this is a person who has the ability, if we give them the opportunity to learn and excel. And so I'll tell you, even in beauty control, so I put that model in place, was able to grow out a team of about 36 women, became a director, was a trainer for them.
Wow.
Kyle and I worked, we were like, Wonder Twin Powers activate, let's go do what we can in the community. But it was also like how looking good, feeling good.
Yeah.
And again, recreating the experience for yourself. And hey, by the way, here's the product that you use.
Hey, exactly.
So the end result, there were layers to it. But then I'll tell you, being home with kids, like I said, didn't imagine myself having children, ended up with having 4 kids. Clinton talked me into that last one, which I thank him for all the time now. But, I also think that there was a time through this, the 3 children where women really did kind of take a step back from what their schooling was. And so even for me at McKesson, I'll say this, and I tell my children this all the time. I decided that I also wanted to, I guess, legitimize or add some street cred behind the whole IT path that I took. So I was then back in school getting a degree in information technology. But at that point, I'm like, not that you can't go that path, but I was a mom, a manager, a wife, and a student.
All hats.
Churn that all out, right? And it's like, so I did get that degree in information technology to support what I was already doing.
Yeah.
But, I say that because a lot of moms or women stepped back from the careers that they had, stepped back from the schooling to be home raising their kids.
Yeah.
And so I then had this really wonderful group of women that I was surrounded by that I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
wait, you're an archaeologist, you're a this, I'm like, well, here we are.
That was crazy.
Changing these diapers and putting these kids on the bus and, doing all of the things. And
it's a chore because when I left Chesterfield County, having had the military benefit, so they would pay for if I went to college or had a vocation. So I didn't want to go to college, so I chose a vocation. So I had to wait until the next cycle started at the Beauty Academy, Colonial Heights Beauty Academy. And we had 2 kids at the time. So Debbie worked, and I stayed home for I think I had to wait 2 months before the next wave of school started. Mm-hmm. And I think I did great with the girls, because at that time we just had Sade and Leah. And then when I started the Beauty Academy, then we got pregnant with AJ. But it was crazy because it's a lot of work.
Listen.
Most dads don't know because they are out in the field or they are not around sometimes. And it's just get them up, feed them, bathing them, nap time, getting them up from nap, and then feed them again, taking them out somewhere. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Shout out to the single moms, or shout out to moms all over this planet that do the damn thing on a daily basis. Yes. Shout out.
And shout out to the dads who are holding it down because
in this day and time, I find more dads are present now. But, back then in the 90s, 80s, 90s, Well, because we were told, generationally, we were told that the man went out, provided, the woman stayed home, she was barefoot and pregnant all the time. And that's what, some people bought into that. Yeah. They believed that. But now, thank God, it's changed and a lot of men are present. Absolutely. And I see a lot. I had work in a salon still, and I see a lot of my male clients, they are the ones who stay home.
Listen.
And their wives are the one who are the breadwinners.
Yes. And however it needs to work, I guess for us, we always worked. It's just like what you said. That's teamwork, right?
Yeah.
That is, it takes both of us. I used to laugh and they're like, oh, Dad's babysitting the kids. I'm like, babysitting the kids? Wait.
Oh my God. I had
staying home just being dad?
Yes. Debbie had a friend, and they had 2 children, and he refused to babysit his kids. She would have to get a babysitter if she wanted to go out.
Wow.
And I was like, how crazy. These are your children. These are not, you don't babysit your own kid. I mean, right, they're your children. So why pay an outside source to come in to look after your children just so your husband can do whatever he want to do?
Right.
But
that's part of that, like you said, the roles of that. But I'll tell you, so
the roles are old.
They are. Then it's like role reversal. We're seeing, like you said, we're seeing a lot of that. But what I will say is, through that time, I never saw myself as being a woman that would be home with kids. I just never did. And
that's okay, because I think a lot of times women feel guilty. I talk to a lot of women. Yes. I've been doing hair for 33 years. So I talk to a lot of women in my chair, and a lot of them confide in me and say, you know what? I don't want to be at home with my kids.
Right.
I don't want to stay home.
Right.
But then they have that guilt and shame or embarrassment, or because the girl down the street and the lady next door, they stay at home. But it's a different time and it's a different place now. And it's great that women can finally have a voice.
Yeah.
And that women can stand up and women can do what they want to do.
Exactly.
And not what society tells them to do, or not what looks good on paper.
Correct.
That paper can be ripped up.
That's it.
Just-
and listen, or you can just reinvent yourself. So
Exactly.
when I came out of being home with kids, this is just the funniest thing. I was sitting with a friend who owns a web and graphic design firm. And she was just talking about, there's so much work. There's so much work.
Is it Susie Fife?
Susie Fife.
Susie and John, shout out.
Shout out to Red Orange. And I just remember talking to her, but what I heard was her heart. And I said, and I heard her need. And
Yeah.
I said, well, I used to do project management back in the day. Maybe I could just come and help you. And then I felt like, did that sound like a pitch? Like, she
Yes.
doesn't know me. She just knows I've been home with kids for almost 15 years.
Oh, my God.
Which is crazy. So I ended up sending her my resume to try to validate my skills.
Because she was trying to resume going back to work.
Resume.
That wasn't a resume, that was a resume.
That was can I push play again? But what was interesting was I remember her saying, maybe I could use the help. And I said, well, listen, I have to put my kids on the bus every day, and I really would like to be home with them in the afternoon, because now after this period of time, I've grown very used to being there and being present.
A routine.
I may not have ever seen myself doing that, but I don't take anything away from the time
Yeah.
that I got to do that, right?
Exactly.
And so I went to work with Susie. I'd put the kids on the bus, I'd go down to the studio, and I worked in a project management role. Well, then that evolved, and then it was like, well, let's try this out, because I haven't worked for anybody in a long time.
Yes.
Do I even want to do this, right? And so 5 years later, 5 years later.
Did you work with her that 5
I
years?
worked with her for actually almost 6 years.
I remember
And
you
so-
working there for a long time.
Yes. So project management, then helped her run the small business division of the firm, and then helped her launch out the nonprofit part, which is people inspiring people. And so just a lovely time of working there. But there was this gnawing thing in the back of my mind. I had a big birthday coming up. That big 50 was hitting, and I said, there's two things that I always wanted to do. One was I wanted to be a flight attendant, which I don't know how that would work, because I really don't like. I mean,
But your daughter fulfilled that dream.
she did, so I live it through her.
Paris, I need a ticket somewhere. If you're listening, go ahead and send me a ticket. I need to go somewhere for free 99.
Right, free 99. I'll tell you though, that standby life is not all that
It's not. No, I know a lot of flight attendants they get stuck.
Yes, but I'll tell you, I get on a plane, I go from A to B, but I don't necessarily like flying. I have seen her in the air doing the thing, and I'm like, wow, that's my human. Look at her in her element.
Yeah.
She's just doing it.
Is she still doing that?
She still does. So almost 10 years now.
Is it that long already?
10 years.
Wow.
Yes. So I always wanted to be a flight attendant. That was not a thing. But I also people had told me over years, you'd be a really good real estate agent. And I thought, real estate, So my big 50 birthday was coming. I thought, I'm going to give this a try. I didn't tell
Anybody? Nope.
not even my mother. I told Quentin, and I think Paris happened to be around, and she heard me talking about it, so maybe she knew. But I went and signed up for the class, got in there, and I thought, oh my God.
Did you do in person or online?
In person. I'm a very in-person.
I learned best that way too.
Yes. I was like, I got to do it in person. I got in there and I thought, oh my God, what have I done? I need to quit this. I don't know if I'm going to be up for this. But after about week 2, had a really great instructor, got into it, tested out of the class, took the national and the state exam.
That test is not no joke.
It's no joke.
Everybody
missed
thinks
one of them. Missed
but-
one of them by 2 questions. And
Yes.
thought, oh my God.
That was me. The national exam. Passed the state board, the Virginia portion, the state portion with flying colors. Missed it by 2 points. And I'm like that at the proctor, like, we ain't got to tell nobody, but you can erase that and put Give me 2 more points.
Just go on and give me a pass.
I need a whole
Oh
pass.
my goodness.
Yes.
Yes, you're right. It was no joke. It's like I almost feel like you go through the class to familiarize yourself.
But see, people see us out in the, because we both do real estate now, and we're on the same team. We'll get to that in a minute. But a lot of people see real estate as like this fun thing, and you don't have to worry about anything. You just get paid a lot of money for helping people sell their houses. You and I both know.
I'm chuckling. I just want to roar with laughter.
So you got your license.
Got my license. And so then I had an agent that I worked with, Becky Parker. Shout out to Becky. She was my personal agent. Anytime I had referrals, I would send them to her. I remember when our kids were in preschool and she launched out to be a realtor, and I just had always followed that path, and I thought, okay, I think I can do this, but I didn't really know. Now I'm like, okay, I passed the test. Now what?
Right.
Now what do I do? So I spent about 3 weeks just like, I knew 19 realtors, and I was like, who do I know that's doing it at a high level? I want to sit. And so I spent about 3 weeks to just sit with people and understand where were they and why. And the plan I had changed as I sat, and that's when I met Dustin originally, and
oh wow,
we started out on a team together, and I really like the team thing. I'm an athlete. I've always done a lot of sports. I'm a team kind of girl. I'm like, I love, like, show me how I can help us progress and move things forward, and I'm that person all day.
And you can do so much better with the team. Because like you said, once you get your license, you don't know what agency to work for. Right. You don't really know you know enough to pass the test.
That's it.
But when you're out in the world, in the streets, helping people or trying to, how do I start? How do I write this contract? Yes. Like so many different things.
It can be really difficult. So I just knew for me, I needed to be around good people. I needed to be a part of a brokerage that was going to give me all of the training and the learning and all of that. And so that's what I did. I landed at Keller Williams.
You can't get any better training than KW.
You're right.
I mean, I drank the Kool-Aid too. That was like the first time I had my license, because I've had my license twice.
I remember.
And so I had my license, put it on hold because I was owner of the salon at the time, and I just wasn't doing anything with my license. So I put it on hold, and you don't know what you don't know. I had a good buddy of mine, shout out to Jesse, he's a realtor in Charleston, South Carolina.
Right.
And so I had sent him a referral. This client in my chair was moving to Charleston. I was like, oh, my buddy Jesse's a realtor. And so he called me 2 months later, and he says, Tony, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, what up, Jesse? And he's like, dude, your client bought a house, but I can't give you any money because you're on inactive status.
Oh, my goodness.
He's like, call down there and put your license on referral status, so when you refer people, you can get paid. That would have been like $2,800.
Man.
So I called down there, and they said, oh, your license just expired. And I said, oh, what's the reinstatement fee? And they were like, no.
Going back and taking that class.
Expired. And I was like, what? And they were like, you never took the continuing education, so your license. So then I was like, all right, it's a wrap. And then Debbie was like, no, you're going back to school.
That's right.
Because I kept saying, I want to get my license again. I want to get my license again. Because everybody, too, was like, you would be a great realtor.
Yeah.
And so I ended up going back during the pandemic with a mask on, in class, and I got my license for the second time. But
Yes. That's what, so I became a realtor right before COVID hit.
Oh, wow.
And so that was really just quite a time.
I had to wait because when I finally got my license, they didn't send my license because it was the pandemic.
Right.
And I think it was somewhere in Tennessee or somewhere. Something got flooded, and
oh my goodness,
it was a huge flood. And then all these records got washed out, and so I had to. My first transaction. Shout out to Ray Rivera with the Rivera Group. Shout out Ray, but I had to work under Ray, and he did everything to get the deal
Get that
done.
deal done.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it was tricky. The thing that really got me was when we came out of class and they said the average agent sells 4 to 6 houses a year, and I thought, well, how does that work? Unless they're $1 million houses, you know what I mean? And so for me, I just, I joined a team. I said, but I also knew that I wasn't going to be on a team forever. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to get what I need, and the training wheels will come off. So I was with Keller Williams. I was with a really awesome team for a number of years. Shout out to the Rucker team.
Yes.
And then from there decided, well, what they told me then was like 97% of my business was coming from me.
Your sphere, your
And so I
potion.
thought, well, do I bet on myself? Do I take a chance on me? And I'll never forget sitting with the owners at that time. And I'll never forget, Tommy said to me, V, I know you're a woman of faith, and you probably haven't come across this very lightly. I'm sure you've been very prayerful about it. I've been prayerful about it too. He's like, but I'm stuck. He's like, do I blow wind beneath the wings of something I know is going to be really great? Or do I selfishly try to keep my hand closed and keep you here?
Yeah.
And we joke about it all the time. He's like, girl, I should have fought harder. But, I then made a decision to start my own firm, which was Blue Ocean Realty, and bet on myself with a fellow broker, and did that for about 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And then really found myself needing to just do things a little bit different. It didn't quite manifest exactly as I had imagined. I did
Sometimes it doesn't. But again, something better is waiting for you on the outside, on the other side of that.
Exactly. And so here I am back. So I've gone from being a single agent to on a team to running a firm to now being a team owner of One Dream Realty. And
Come on, One Dream. Shout out to One Dream.
And one of the things that I just think is so powerful is when you get the right alignment.
I'm using that word a lot all the time. Alignment.
It really is that, yes, we all know that we pivoted a lot over the last few years, but when you get aligned, and like you said, the Lord really knows and will put the right people in place. And when that all happens, then there is the opportunity and the ability to not only leverage that, but to really begin to build something that's really, really, really great. And so I love that, here we are, One Dream, a year later, just building the culture, building the community, taking on agents, all of us just wanting to be in a place that is even bigger than just I sell houses.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so it's been super fulfilling for me to be a part of, and to actually also help others to see. So you hear the story, like, okay, I've been kind of traversing through this space for, almost 6 years and having good success. Having good success. Just the favor that has been on this journey and this path has been one that I don't take for granted, right? And
I was on a team prior to this team, and the focus shifted, and so I stayed for a long time, probably longer than I should have. But I'm always grateful to Ray. Ray Rivera was like, he took me in under his wing. He did everything for me, like be above and beyond for me. But then I knew, again, like you said, I just knew I had to leave, and I didn't want to go. And I'm loyal to a fault. And so I stayed a little bit longer than I probably should have. And then I reached out to you. I was like, Venus, where are you at? I need somewhere to go. I need somewhere to hang this license.
Like, come on, friend.
And I remember sitting down with you and Dustin and Vince at the time, and we went to lunch, and it was great. And Dustin was like, all right, we give you a shot.
And listen, and then you've come in and put in the work. And that's the thing.
Oh, I need to get back to the work. Dustin, I'm backsliding.
When I think about, when I talk about my days on record, obviously a big brand, a team that ran really well at a high level, like that front row seat for me, it helped to propel me to where I was. But here's the thing, the single most thing is how you show up every day.
Oh, yeah.
The work that you put in.
Yeah.
You know, I'm also the person that says, don't reinvent the wheel. Hey, if it works for you, let me just put that Venus swag on
Yeah.
and let it roll. If it doesn't work, let me tweak it.
Yeah.
Maybe I set that to the side. Let me try this. I'm always willing to try a thing. But the biggest part for me too is serving people well, giving them a great experience.
Oh my God, I gotta learn, like, because you went with me on
And the listing appointment.
listing appointment, high level, like
You know,
high level, a real high level. I was like, oh my God,
It's-
like I was just sitting there in awe watching you, because when I watched you and listened to you, it was like very professional. We had fun,
Yes.
but it was still very professional. There was statistics
Yes.
that backed everything up, and you know, clients want to know where their money is going.
Right.
Why am I giving you 3%? I could. There's 7,000 agents in Richmond.
Why
I could
you?
choose somebody. Why you? But then the way that you broke it down, and it was so specific, and they were later, because it was my coworker at the salon, and then she was like, "God, your friend was like, she gave us all the answers," and I was like.
I try to be a problem solver. I try
Yes.
to get ahead of and think through the things. And the reason that I think that I have the success there, part of it is I love to educate
Yeah.
and empower people through the process. And it really is because no one ever did it for me.
Yeah.
And so it's part of my mission. Like when I meet people, I'm like, listen, we just have to set time aside
Yeah.
to go through the process outside of, hey, I want to buy a house. Oh, there's a house.
Yeah.
Like, can we set aside time to talk through the process, talk through the financial snapshot, talk through what's most important to you for this move?
Yeah.
What is it like to work with an agent? Let me tell you some of the additional expenses I want you to plan for. Let's set that aside because that's really going to set us up for success. And
Exactly.
create the roadmap for how we need to tackle it or plan for it, whether you're ready today or 15 months from now. You know, I have
Exactly.
people that I talked to 15 months ago that are rolling in, queued up now,
Yeah.
ready to roll. And so I just think it's important. We joke, you know, Margarita,
Margarita.
and the squad, you know, sometimes talks about, you know, I don't work from a place of perfection, but it
Yeah.
really is from a place of like, I want to give people the most and the best and excellence.
Yeah.
And so that's the bar that I really try to strive for. But, you know, you also just need good people around you to anchor you to what is good, to, you know, just help you really to understand and see the value,
Yes.
one, right? But also, I just think for me, you've got to bring others along with you, right?
Because that's what it's all
someone-
about.
someone
You
did
give
it for
somebody
me.
a hand up.
Exactly. So that's a part of it too. And that's the mentoring, that's the riding shotgun, that's the
Exactly.
conversations, that's the sowing the time. And so I just believe that that's really important. You talk about it's a paying it forward, right? Someone
Yeah.
did it for me. So I absolutely need to do it for someone else. So when you talk about reinventing, we've talked about like, I don't even know how many times, like
She's Jamaican. She got 10 jobs,
10
man. She
jobs,
got
man.
10 jobs.
I am totally the in living color, 10 jobs Jamaican woman. You got 10 jobs. Yeah.
But what I like about our team, and I had Dustin on a couple weeks ago, and it's just our culture.
Yes.
It's like a family,
Yeah.
and like everyone's so friendly. No one keeps secrets.
No.
Everything's out in the open. We're all there to help one another, and it's just a blessing. Again, we talked about how you get to certain places at a certain time, at the right time, on time.
Correct.
And so when I started, it's been over a year already.
Which is amazing.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
year?
Yeah, it's been over a year when I started the team, joined the team.
Wow.
But it's just a great culture.
It is. And I tell people this all the time, the C's. I have these 4 C's. One of the things the Lord and I had a conversation was, you're releasing me into a world where they say there's 5,000 other agents.
Yes.
Comparison can be a thing.
Comparison.
But I knew out of the gates that I couldn't compare myself to anyone else. The only person I'm comparing myself to is who I was yesterday.
Exactly.
But I have these 4 C's where it's like we have to communicate, we have to collaborate, we have to celebrate, and sometimes, man, we are commiserating with each
Yeah.
other because going back to what you said, where people think you're just opening a door
Yep.
and showing people a house and collecting checks. I
Yeah.
tell you, over these last, you know, I've had a recent queue of clients, and it's been a lot of circumstances and challenges. And I mean, for 2 weeks, I felt like I was in tears, and I'm thinking, is this the day I'm going to quit being a real estate agent? Because
It's tough. It
it's
can be
that
tough.
difficult. And it's not even just selling a house. You're dealing with, it's
The client.
physical, it's financial, it's emotional. So you're dealing
Very
with all of those
emotional.
things, and you got to keep yourself geeked up. You got to be your own hype person,
You
right?
do.
You have to, and so every day you just have to wake up, and I'm like, Lord, give me the strength to do what I need to do today. Help me to be the realtor I need to be today. Help me to be the professional.
Yeah, yeah.
Help me to actually help my client understand that this is what I do.
Yeah.
I have their best interests at heart. I'm going hard in the paint.
Yeah.
I'm negotiating the best price, terms, deals. I'm trying to, manage this for our success, because the end game is
Yeah.
to get the house. Now, we might be dragging ourselves across that finish line, but we're going to
Yeah.
get there.
So what
And
would you tell young Venus, a 10-year-old Venus? What would you tell her? You got this.
So a 10-year-old Venus
A young Venus.
would be that girl who always wanted to show up, be the bright light, love, laugh, but didn't always have the belief
Yeah.
that I could come out and make this mark on the world or serve people at this level. And so I would say to her, like, girl, just keep smiling, keep shining, keep pushing, because your steps are ordered.
Yes.
There is a plan. You don't see it. We don't often understand why we have to go through certain things, but
Yes.
but now I can look back and see, like you said, all of those things were bringing me to this place.
That final
All of those
destination.
experiences were bringing me to this place. I'm living a very fulfilled life right
Yes.
now, and that's not like I have everything, but I can wake up every day positive, wanting to make an impact, wanting to make a difference, wanting to serve well, and wanting to be the best version
Yeah.
that I can be. And I don't think at 10, I really understood just the value
Yeah.
of that.
But I think you've been such a role model for so many people around you, because I watch people interact with you. And I see how you are with your family, your son and your 3 daughters, and I see that y'all are very close, and I see that you and Quentin have made this beautiful, I mean, it's not, everybody have their setbacks,
Yeah.
but I have watched you grow from when I knew this 15-year-old Venus that came to Meadowbrook High School in 84, 85 to where we are now, 2025, and you're this accomplished real estate agent. You have this beautiful family. You have this amazing life. So what would you say to other young women, because you were a single mom at one point?
Yeah.
So what do you say to even women that are in a relationship that want to get out of a relationship but don't believe in themselves enough to stand on their own 2 feet and do, what would your advice be for someone like that?
So let me say this. Maybe there's a book that's coming.
Shout out to the book.
But I look at challenges in life that were hard, things that maybe you don't even understand as a child that you encounter, to yes, let's hit the chapters, being in a relationship that I didn't see value of myself, right? To then finally breaking free from that, to then trusting God to bring me the mate,
Yeah.
the gift, truly the gift of, Quentin, to then having a struggle in having a family. 10 pregnancies was a lot, but it was
Yeah.
like, Lord, I know when it will be, when we're done,
Yes.
pushing through that, to then let's just go here to having a child with a life-threatening illness, being in treatment for active treatment
I
for
remember
3
that.
years, to 5 years of our lives absorbed by that, to
Yeah.
now, this being year 10 of survivorship. That was hard.
Amen.
to then sustaining a brain injury. We didn't even talk about how
Oh,
that
we didn't even talk
impacted
about that.
real estate.
Next show.
But what I'm saying is all of that, and that's like a lot of blows. What I know to be true about myself is my faith, my trust in who God is in the midst of it, allowed us to weather each one of those storms. The thing of it is, we are more powerful than we imagine that we
Yes.
are. The thing is, like, to get up every day and you can defeat yourself, but to get up every day and positively affirm yourself,
Yes.
to listen, I get up every day with gratitude. Thank you for breath in my lungs, mobility in my
Yes.
body, and halfway in my right mind most
Yes.
most days.
Halfway.
It's just one of those things, and it's who you surround yourself with. You need to
Yes.
be in the
Show me your friends.
That's it. Show me your friends and show me the sum total of who you are or where you want to
Exactly.
be. And so, but also strive to be the person that's the difference maker. Strive to be
Yes.
the person who pours into others. You know, you talk about, you know, we come from a generation of parents who it was more, you're clothed, you're housed, you're fed.
Just the
There
fundamentals.
was an absence maybe of the full nurturance that
Yes.
you know, but that was also a cycle that was
Yeah.
that they lived through. And so, you know, I think our generation is now, we're in this place of being cycle breakers, right?
Yes.
And so
Amen
that's
to
just
that.
one of the things that I would just say, belief in yourself, surrounding yourself with people who lift you up, who have a belief, you know. Again, I use that term of like, do I blow wind beneath the wings of something I know that's going to be great? You need people
Yeah.
like that around you who can say, I will open my hand and let you go fly or flop, right? And so, but I'm still here
Sure.
with you. So I just believe that, you know, we're so much stronger than we imagine that
Yes.
we are. Even me just saying all of those things, I can think of the heartache, the pressure, the
Yep.
grief, the anxiety, like all of the things that were a part of that. But to stand today where I am,
Well, because those were at the time were setbacks,
phew,
but where you are now, it was a setup
a setup.
to get you exactly to this point.
I believe.
So we're almost out of time,
Yes.
but what gets you up in the morning? What makes Venus go? Other than pickleball, we didn't even talk about pickleball. The La Reina de Pickleball está aquí. That means it's the pickleball queen is here.
Those four children wake me up every day. My desire, my husband and I, we're a team. It's like, what are we going to
Isn't it amazing? Yeah, you know my journey.
Listen.
Debbie and I have gone through a lot. But to get to this point where you have a person that you can trust, that you know, that you love, that's a team, like can't break you apart. Like, it was a bumpy road. And we were on a roller coaster for a couple, 3 years. But to get to that place, you saying that we're a team. Teamwork makes the dream work, and it goes beyond that, because in this day and age right now, so many people are so busy and going so many different ways, and life happens and you get pulled in 10 different directions. So just knowing that you have someone to be that teammate.
I mean, through trials, right?
Yeah.
Who sees you at your worst and still loves you?
Yes.
Who sees you at your worst and still encourages you?
Yes.
Who, you know, blows wind beneath your wings.
Yes.
Blows wind beneath your, yet again. Oh, this is what we're doing now?
Yeah.
You know, and so but I do believe, even if you don't have that mate, surrounding yourself with people who, again, are aligned with you, or who help
Yes.
anchor you, or who actually help you to further what that is that you're
Yeah.
thinking and going for, it's a treasure. It's
Yeah.
a treasure. And,
So tell people if they want to connect with you, because she's a local real estate agent here.
yes.
If people want to reach out to you, how can they find you?
You all can find me at V as in victory, B as in Bolton, RVA.com. Everything you want to know resides there, www.vsandvictory.com. www.vbrva.com. Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you. I'm
Th-
so proud of you, friend.
No, I'm so proud of you. And
This
that's why I
is
wanted to
exactly
have.
where you're supposed to be.
I am. And
Storytelling,
you're exactly.
laughing with folks, highlighting the highlight reels of life.
Yeah, exactly.
I love this.
Thank you so much. That means a lot coming from you because, like I said, we go way back.
Way back.
Like my hairline, we go way back.
And when I had hair.
Shout out to Venus Bolton.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. Again, you could have been anywhere, and the world is such a busy place. And I thank you for tuning in today. And until the next time, stay connected. I'm out.